In many of my videos, I talk about the college admissions madness from a broad perspective. And in this video, I'm going to call out one university in particular, the University of Southern California, because they arguably have like the most annoying application among all elite American universities. But before I get into some of the dirt, let me offer a few compliments first. USC, they do admit a much higher ratio of transfer students compared with their elite university peers. And they also offer generous merit scholarships to help make their education more affordable for middle-class students and working-class families. They also have an above-average rate of first-generation college students on their campus at around 22%, which is still relatively low, objectively speaking. And even their current director was my former director of admissions when I worked for the University of Texas at Austin, Dr. Kedra Ishak. She was my boss. She was the one who also litigated the Fisher versus UT Austin case in front of the Supreme Court about affirmative action and race in admission. So I have a high regard of her as a professional. So it's also kind of surprising that USC has such a goofy set of requirements and just it's quite uncertain what they actually expect of their applicants. And so USC's successes far outweigh their bright spots. USC is a leader in surprise essay requirements that aren't published on their website. For example, when you click the link, USC Writing Supplement, it simply redirects you to the Common Application login page, which isn't helpful at all. And since each major has its own supplement, it's difficult to anticipate the topics until you change your major option on the USC tab inside your Common Application account. So if you're a prospective student wondering whether or how to apply to USC, you can't actually access that information until you log in. And some majors will post these requirements, but not all. And so, since there aren't transparent requirements on the Office of Admissions of USC's page, it complicates researching what's expected of applicants up front. USC was in the crosshairs of the Varsity Blues admission scandal investigations. Rich people get in while the masses have to write silly responses to questions like, "What's your theme song?" While Olivia Jade's parents can buy and bribe their unqualified daughter a space at the university. Most students are surprised to find additional essays beyond the 3 short answer requirements for all students, and also USC's list of dozen questions that ask questions like, "What's your favorite snack?" Applications to the Young Academy must submit a 1-minute video and a creative portfolio, followed by an interview that takes place across an entire weekend. But if you go to the information page on their website, it also suggests that not attending the interview weekend will jeopardize your admissions chances. And so there is a disconnect, it's a theme I talk about a lot, between universities who claim that they want to recruit diverse students, but then also erect barriers for applying to their programs and universities. And as a society, why do we apply less demanding application requirements to future human rights lawyers and physicians than the University of Southern California does for students seeking a Bachelor's of Science to health lifespan or the music industry? USC's Dornsife School gives students the challenging task of writing in 250 words about a hypothetical 10-minute speech as if they had the attention of 1 million people, disregarding that a 10-minute speech or a video like this amounts to sometimes 1,500 words or more. Why doesn't USC just ask, "What would your TED Talk be?" Their World Bachelor in Business program is the most frustrating application of all because it requires 4 additional essays and a video introduction. Some but not all admitted Marshall students last year received a branded pair of AirPod headphones that came in this like specialized case with their acceptance letter wrapped up in gilded paper. And there was one undergraduate named Grace Shan who wrote in the Daily Trojan a critical opinion piece about this recruitment gimmick, I guess. In their statement, USC claims to prioritize students' education and seeks to, quote, "develop human beings and society as a whole through the cultivation and enrichment of the human mind and spirit." AirPods do not contribute to the enrichment of the human mind, but perhaps this is yet another thing so complicated that administration must leave students in the dark about. After all, making current students feel welcome or providing adequate financial aid is nothing compared to a higher yield, right? And I have to agree with Grace. Those are all concerns that I raised throughout my book, Surviving the College Admissions Madness, and that's also a theme in many of the videos on this YouTube channel. To add another layer of hypocrisy to this situation is that around the same time that USC distributed these AirPod packages to some but not all Marshall Business students, they settled a $1.1 billion with a B dollar lawsuit for sexual abuse against more than 500 female students by the health center gynecologist George Tyndall during his 3-decade career. Court proceedings found that USC knew about the allegations for years, yet they only terminated his employment in 2017 when the allegations became public and also so overwhelming that they could no longer be swept under the rug or ignored. USC also recently increased their tuition rate by 3.5% because presumably customized AirPods don't come cheap. Had USC not continued to employ a rapist that shattered the lives of hundreds of families, the cost of the class action lawsuit settlements could have covered 4 years worth of tuition for over 4,500 USC undergraduate students. They could have also purchased AirPods for every person living in central Los Angeles. In previous content, I shared that for every application requirement or an essay that a university implements, it will deter low-income, first-generation, and other marginalized populations from applying. USC and universities everywhere present this image of being friendly towards first-generation college students. Yet if USC sincerely cared about diversity in college access, they would eliminate or at least make transparent most or all of their major specific supplement essays and video interview requirements. It's perfectly fine that they want to enroll a vibrant community of learners with varied and diverse interests. I share this same goal about multiculturalism and diversity recruitment, but they don't need utterly silly essay topics to achieve this goal. Requiring so many supplements and other items also increases their admissions staff and professors' workload, who have to necessarily help with the review process. I argue that they should have 1 and maybe at most 2 essays beyond the common application essay that simply asks, why do you want to study your proposed major at USC, or discuss an activity of interest that's meaningful to you. These undergraduate reform suggestions would also match the requirements of applying to their top 20 law school, which has a single essay that asks simply to discuss your background and interests beyond the application basics. That's simple. Why are undergraduate application requirements so demanding and absurd and silly when no other graduate, medical, or American law schools have the same excesses? USC undergraduate admissions leads the pack in making teenagers jump through endless application hoops. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find my email in the information section of this video, so feel free to reach out if you're interested in working together.